Hey guys, welcome. Welcome to another beautiful day in a beautiful life. I hope you're having a wonderful day and I hope you're taking care of yourself and safeguarding your energy. I feel like that's the era I'm in, safeguarding my energy, like revoking access to anything, anyone that doesn't bring me peace. And this is your friendly reminder to revoke access. It's your choice. You get to choose in any moment and it's your life. So if it doesn't bring you peace, then access revoked. Period. No doubting ourselves, no questioning, no yeah, it's just like I just don't have time. It's like my bandwidth will not allow me to tolerate anything that brings me disease, including myself. Yes, including yourself. Most especially yourself, because you are seriously, you're the main access point and you're determining like everything based on what you are allowing to have access to you, period. Let's cleanse the space. As you can tell, I am in hermit mode currently. Yes. In fact, I want to say I spend most of my time in hermit mode unless I have to go out. And I dictate how much time I allow myself to go out. Like, no one else dictates that for me. I yeah, I decide, and you should decide too. I did take notes today because I had my mind was everywhere. What's new? I think if you have or you can relate to like an INFJ's processing unit, I think we take slower, like it's slower for us to process things because we are like extracting information from many different angles simultaneously, and it's not like it's well like sifted through. You know what I mean? And it takes a while for us to process, or I've noted and I've accepted that about myself. And people who I want to say cherish your presence will understand that. And people who don't cherish you, then access revoked. Period. Um, yeah, I don't know. I spend so much of my life trying to understand everything and everyone else that, if somebody can't, I want to say, give me the same grace, then what are we doing here? I'm an excellent listener. In fact, I used to be, oh, so just forewarning you in advance, this video is going to be everywhere. I'm probably going to create timestamps below. So if there's a particular topic that you're interested in, you can like bypass the rest. I will do that. I'm just going to have to, yeah, just give me some time for that. But I will probably put timestamps below. Um, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. I used to be very porous. Like, if you are an empath, you can probably relate to that. Very porous. I still am very porous. The difference is I've learned to discern whose energy is mine and whose energy is not. I've also relinquished responsibility um, and my caretaker role. Because before I would like feel everyone else's feelings, I would feel their discomfort, I would feel where they were imbalanced, unaligned, and then I would go in there and utilize my energy to restabilize them, you know, because I don't know what it is, but for most of my life, I've always thought that, you know, the other person or thing in front of you is just an extension of yourself. So that saying treat others as you would like to be treated, I've always practiced that because yeah, I would see other people as myself, so if I saw them in a situation where like circumstances weren't the best and maybe they needed like a knee up or something, I would and because I was so porous, I would mistake their energy as mine. And partly I would be like, well, if I was in their situation, I would appreciate like, a helping hand. And so I would overextend my care and my generosity. Um, Moving forward in 2026, I'm definitely revisiting a lot of my patterns and my habits, and I'm definitely going to start turning tables. Like for instance, I've noted that I have a tendency to be overly generous with my time, attention, care, money, and I'm gonna start retracting that. I'm gonna start regulating the distribution of that based off of like what feels right to me, not what feels right to someone else, what feels right to me. And that's what it's all about. I think this whole journey of life is like bringing yourself back to yourself, you know, because we've spent most of our lives fragmented into trying to please and appease everyone else, trying to please and appease our own mind and the mental constructs that were like implanted. Yeah, no, no, thank you. It's as simple as that. Like, you don't have to get defensive or dismissive. Like, for me, like, I acknowledge what is happening in the moment, and then I literally choose if I would like to participate or invest in that or not. And then I don't feel guilty about it once I make a decision. And the thing is, like, if you're indecisive, people will make decisions for you. And it may be a decision that you don't like. So, like, why give someone else the power to dictate your reality when you can take your power back and choose for yourself? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So I've been like exhausted. I think I might have mentioned that in the beginning of this video. Super exhausted. I think I'm picking up on the collective, if I were to be completely honest, because normally, like, I wake up fresh as a springboard, like full of energy, and obviously you can still see me animating and laughing. But yeah, I just feel exhausted. Like, I was supposed to go to a party tonight, a dinner party, and I literally, yep, excused myself. I bowed out of that invitation last minute. And initially, like, I felt bad. Like, I could feel myself like guilt tripping myself. And I'm like, no, why are you feeling guilty about making a decision that is going to be in your best interest and will support your well being? Like, and like, I don't know. I guess some people, not only are they ashamed to do what is best for them, because they want to keep up social appearances and like appease everyone else, they're also embarrassed to admit like the truth. And yeah, I could have fibbed. I could have said, "Oh, I'm not feeling well," which isn't a full-on fib because honestly, I'm not feeling I don't have the social um bandwidth to leave my house today, let alone drive and get ready to interact with all my coworkers over dinner. I'm good. No, thank you. Yeah, you see though, you see how I made that choice. I was very decisive. I didn't spend too much time ruminating. I just kind of like listened to myself and I realized I was exhausted and I just didn't want to play up to the social standards at the expense of my well-being. And so I bowed out. And yeah, most people are afraid to like be honest with themselves and others. So they probably make up a lie like, oh, something came up or whatever. And I had the option to do that too, but I decided to just be honest. I said, I just don't have the social bandwidth to leave my house today. And I'm sorry if you're going to be upset that I can't make it to this party, but that's kind of not my problem. And people who care about you, like sincerely care about you, they'd understand. They wouldn't get super upset about it. That's how you know the real ones from the fake ones, I suppose. Let's see. Okay, where are we going to start? Okay, I'm going to start here. If you've ever felt out of place and you never fit in, it's because you weren't meant to. I've come to that conclusion. Like, I want to say, like, and I'm sorry if I talk about my experiences to like kind of like hit notes because that's all I got. I'm not going off of someone else's experience. I'm going off of my own firsthand experiences. Maybe you can relate, maybe you can't relate. But either way, by me telling the story, I feel like if you can relate, you won't feel so alone. You know what I mean? But let me read that again. If you've ever felt out of place and you never fit in, it's because you weren't meant to. I've embraced that fact. Like I remember when I was younger, I was always trying to fit in. I don't know. I feel like I had abandonment issues or mother wounds that I hadn't healed and was trying so hard to fit in, to belong, you know? And even though I encountered glimpses of belonging, it never lasted long. And I think that's another part of life is impermanence. Nothing lasts forever here. And that is a fact. So trying to hold on to it is painful. Releasing it can be painful too, but that's how we learn and grow and purge and move and ascend and evolve and expand. It's all part of the process. And my whole thing is I think I had some kind of, what is that called? I I didn't want to accept that that was a natural part of life, not fitting in to like certain places and even the impermanence of things. It just really hurt. And I would try to like maintain and hold on and fit myself into places where I obviously had outgrown or did not belong and very painful. But now I just kind of like go with the flow, like I think in other videos I've mentioned, like, this is a really, really good analogy that sticks with me always. Like holding the fist, holding onto something and not releasing it. If you do that, that hurts, and you can like hold this fist for like, 10 minutes and it's a lot of tension. But if you open your hand and you allow things to come and go naturally, organically, then it's lighter. It's so much. It's more of a flow. And my whole thing is, anytime you come across pain, pain is a activating agent. It's trying to nudge you and tell you, like when something has reached its peak and it's time to move on. You know what I mean? Nothing is meant to last forever in this particular dimension or realm. Um, Anyways, yeah, trying to fit in. Yeah, I would always contort myself and like make myself small and you know, yeah, that's tiresome. I'm not doing that anymore. I just don't care. Yeah. Not in a way where I'm apathetic. I just don't have the energy to hold on to things that I've obviously outgrown, you know? But anyways, continuing on. If you carry a frequency that glitches the matrix, once you okay, I'm gonna have to start again. Sorry. If you've ever felt out of place and you never fit in, it's because you weren't meant to. You carry a frequency that glitches the matrix. Once you embrace that and fully embody your energy, everything around you will shift and reconfigure. You'll tap into creator consciousness. You'll no longer be an imitation, a follower, or a copy. Society has tried to stifle your awakening so you wouldn't awaken to and unlock your God given right and power to change the game and the grid. Yeah, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Yeah, I wrote that. Yeah. In other videos I mentioned I do like automatic writing or I just turn off my thinker and I just write stuff. That's what came out. Um yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. Do I need to read that again so we can fully grasp what I wrote? Maybe. I noticed like saying things twice or thrice definitely hits hits or makes more of an impression, you know? Yeah. So if you've ever felt out of place and you never fit in, it's because you weren't meant to. You carry a frequency that glitches the matrix. Once you embrace that and fully embody your energy, everything around you will shift and reconfigure effortlessly. You'll tap into creator consciousness. You'll no longer be an imitation, follower, or a copy. Society has tried to stifle your awakening so you wouldn't awaken to and unlock your God given rights and power to change the game and the grid. Yeah. And remember going back to my story about trying to fit in? I always wondered, like, what's wrong with me? Is something wrong with me? Like, how come I can't, like, I don't know. I always felt out of place. How come I don't know, I was always met with defensiveness or dismissiveness despite trying my best to show up as my best self. You know what I mean? Like I always thought something was wrong with me. And then, you get to a point where you realize nothing's wrong with you. You just weren't meant to fit in. You're meant to, like, have windows of time where you, like, feel like you belong so you can experience what that feels like, but then most of the time it's like you weren't meant to fit in. And I don't know, ever since I was a child, I kind of always went against the grain, which would frustrate people around me because the people around me were trying to control me. Don't get me wrong, like I do like to cooperate, I do like to collaborate, but if something feels off to me, like I don't know, I just retract. It's like, doesn't make sense. Like, why am I going to do that? Somebody's trying to tell me to do something. It doesn't make sense. Why am I going to do that? And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, people would try to tell me, like, not to do something, and I would do it. Just it was weird. It's not even an ego thing. It was like if somebody told me not to do something, I recognized the flaw in that. It's like they place limitations upon themselves, but their limitations aren't my limitations. That's something that they put upon themselves. And for me, it's just like if they told me don't do something that's not going to work, it would, like, almost like inspire me to, like, yeah, do it. And then most of the time I'd prove them wrong. Like I'm like, oh, you told me I couldn't do this, but I did it. Like basically your limitations, the limitations you have placed upon yourself does not apply to me, because I didn't choose to let it limit me. You know what I mean? I didn't choose to allow your projection to infiltrate my ability to do or not do something. Yeah, and it's funny. Like I think when somebody would tell me not to do something, it wasn't even like to prove them wrong. It was more like to prove to myself that what they were saying was true or untrue. And then yeah, that's basically it. It was like all like experiential and experimental. Like, huh, they said that this doesn't work. I wonder if that's true. And then you notice, like, sometimes when you're like trying to do something and you can't get it, somebody else will step in and go, let me try. Yeah, because you're trying to disprove that uh, your ability or inability to do something is flawed. Like they're like, oh, let me try. Same here. Let me try. You said it can't be done. Let me try. And the few times that I did fail, I would admit it. I'd be like, oh, you were right. I wouldn't, like, have an ego trip and, like, I don't know, man. All these people with egos, so exhausting. Okay, what else was I gonna move into? Ooh, I have a really interesting question. Have you ever asked yourself, well, if you were born in a generation before cell phones existed, have you ever asked yourself, like, what you were doing before cell phones existed? Yeah, I've noticed, man, like when I got in the world, everybody's so fucking attached to their phones. Like all they're doing is, like, literally they look like zombies, just like it's like their body is present, but then like their mind is being fragmented into all these different arenas and dimensions of life because of the information that they're consuming. Yeah, just fragmented minds, just zombie like people just staring at screens. Yeah, I'm just like, that doesn't I don't know. What a waste of time. I don't know. Like it's a double edged sword, honestly, because on it, like on the good side, on the flip side, like yeah, there's a lot to be learned through the internet. There's a lot of like interesting concepts that can expand your consciousness and awareness like two times fold. Like what would normally take you 20 years to do or to like come to the conclusion to is already being like posted online. But that's the thing, like there's all these younger generations, and I'm sorry, like this is just my personal perspective and opinion. Sorry if you get offended, but I think the younger generation, like it's all mental for them. Like they haven't really like gone out in the physical to like experience and experiment. So they're basically going off of somebody else's conclusion without really experiencing it themselves. And then they think they know it all. But they're missing like a really like, I want to say essential component, which is like doing some like you personally experiencing it. You're not just like I said, like parroting somebody else's experience or information and like claiming it as your own. You're like, for me, it's like a lot of the things and conclusions I've come to have been through sheer hard work. Like I've lived most of this stuff. You know what I mean? I haven't just like oh, read it from a book or seen it in a video or whatever, and then I claim that, oh yeah, I know. In fact, like there's a lot of things that I like cross reference and cross check just to like I want to say see how valid the information is, because there's a lot of like fluff floating around out there, and it's not necessarily true. 1000%. And that's why, like, I don't know, it's really hard for me to believe things nowadays, especially nowadays, man. They're just throwing a lot of like bullshit your way. It's just like they're really, really trying to fragment your brain so you can't think for yourself. That's what's going on. And that's the ultimate silent weapon right there, power, control, and dominion by like grabbing your mind, fragmenting it so much so that you can't think for yourself. You don't know what is true, what is untrue, what to follow, what not to follow. Follow yourself. Follow yourself. Follow your feelings. Follow your intuition. Follow your gut. Like for me, that's how I navigate all of this nonsense. But this nonsense can be fun, especially if you're a spectator. Anyways, um, yeah, like if I were to ask myself that question, what was I doing before cell phones were here? Dude, I was living life. I was living it. I was touching it. I was in it. I was experimenting. I was in the mud. I was in the dirt. I was climbing trees. I was looking at leaves. I was like stepping in like rivers, oceans, diving in them, looking at fish, looking at birds. I was in it. I wasn't just staring at a fucking screen. I'm not saying that that's bad, but with everything, you need to like regulate. There's a balance point. If anything is done in excess, there's definitely an imbalance, you know? And unless you're aware there's an imbalance, you're just going to keep being imbalanced. And then you're easier to manipulate and control, right? Because you're imbalanced. You're not aligned. You're not balanced. Um, you don't have a regulated nervous system. You're totally dysregulated, totally fragmented, totally catastrophizing everything because socially they're making you like afraid of everything. And then you can't, you're easily manipulated and controlled. Pretty much. That's it in a nutshell. So I'm just like, I'm good. Yeah. Um, yeah, and I feel like before cell phones, like there was more like socializing, like face to face. Like you would like make plans to meet at the mall with your friends. You would make plans to go watch a movie together, or just have a picnic somewhere out in nature, get some sunshine, get out of the fucking house, get the fuck out of the house. Sometimes, like for me, like I know I'm a hermit and I spend most of my time inside, but I also have a yard where I can sunbathe, and pet my cats, lie in my hammock. Um, yeah, I feel like we were more like in tune with the natural rhythm of life. Yeah, you had like distractions, but it wasn't like it wasn't overly saturated. You know, you had like you still like had the ability to like be present in this moment, you know, to be in touch with your reality versus like being fragmented out into all these other realities that everyone else is creating. Look at me, look at me. Yeah, you're like experimenting, you're experiencing, you're gathering information, wisdom, knowledge firsthand, firsthand information, wisdom, and knowledge. You weren't just kind of like, I don't know, like fucking like looking at the screen and just like consuming information that way. Sorry, I was parched. Okay, next thing. You're 25 minutes in, it's fine. Undo social programming. At first, it will seem counterintuitive. It will be really uncomfortable. But once you like unplug and or you start unplugging and you start like yeah unplugging from the matrix, it'll be kind of uncomfortable because you'll lose your sense of identity. Like your ego will be obliterated, and it'll be kind of scary, honestly, because you're gonna be like, how do I function? How do I navigate this? How do I function? You know, especially since I'm like crossing over into an area or spectrum where most people don't reside in on a mental, emotional, spiritual, physical note. You know what I mean? It goes totally against the grain. And I don't know, I've had that program installed since I was a child. I'm just only activating and fully like, yeah, activating and like doing it now. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, like, good example, dude, Christmas. What the fuck, Christmas? This is like the number one, I want to say the number one season for people to participate in and overindulge in consumerism. You know, like I remember like when I was a kid, my mom would buy me like, you guys remember like when we had like balls and jacks? You know that game where you bounce the ball and you pick up jacks? Dude, she'd buy me that and I'd be stoked. Now it's like, oh, I need a 3D printer. I need a Louis Vuitton bag. I need a I need a car. I need what happened? And then it's just like sometimes people don't even appreciate it. You know, it's just like it's almost like they feel entitled. Like you should be giving me these things and I should not have to do anything for them. And I may or may not show you gratitude, but that's what it is. Merry Christmas. What the fuck are you doing here? It doesn't make sense. Like for me, like I've said in other videos, like for me, every day is Christmas. Every day is my birthday. Every day is, yeah, every day is a celebration. Like, why are we waiting for one day out of the year to celebrate anything? Why not celebrate every fucking day? And why does it have to be attached with a gift? Like, isn't your present the present? Isn't your presence the present? You being present, you giving your energy, your time, your care, your attention to someone, like a present in itself. Like, dude, like, I don't know. Like, somebody could just pick me a flower off the side of the road and I'd be super stoked. But I guess it's hard to satiate majority of the people because we've been programmed. That string is bothering me. Whatever. Yeah. So undo social programming. At first, it will feel counterintuitive, very uncomfortable, very painful because it requires an ego death. It requires dark night of the soul. It requires stepping into the void, which is scary because you're like, what the fuck is in here? Like I don't know who am I? Who am I? I am no longer like everything that I thought I was. Like starting at the 0 point again, you know, through a new set of eyes, through a through a new frequency. Yeah, so like what I mean by that, like so when you feel like you need to speed up, slow down. Like everybody I feel like feels like they need to speed up. Like they're rushing, they're like, I need to do this, I need to go here, I gotta go there, I gotta do make this happen. Oh, exhausting. Shit. Just slow down. Just chill out. Slow down, chill out, take a nap, take a rest, you know. Yeah. and then trust the process. That's how you get into the flow, honestly. You ever notice that? Like whenever you're in flow state, it's because you're hyper present and you're not expecting anything from life. You're just kind of in it. You're just letting it take you, the flow state. And it takes you like in a very organic way to places and situations that are meant for you. It's not forced. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not forced. It's just a flow. Like you just kind of like flow into areas or places, you meet people that you are meant to in that moment. It's not forced, it's super organic and it feels good. It doesn't feel like there's any additional pressure added to it. You know what I mean? By yourself or others. Yeah, just so for me, like I've learned and I don't think I've mastered it, but I'm pretty fucking good at it. Slowing down. Yeah, I don't rush. I don't try. I don't do. It sounds very counterintuitive because we've been taught otherwise, right? I trust the process. I slow down. I go with the flow. Instead of like fragmenting my mind into the past or the future, I'm very present, hyper present. It almost seems surreal. That's how present I am. It feels like, I think I've mentioned in other videos, it feels like I'm in a dream or I recognize that this is a dream because I'm so fucking present. Yeah, I don't even need drugs for that. And then I'm like watching people. I'm like watching people's minds, their fragmented minds and their fragmented souls, just kind of like spiral down into like chaos. And then they're trying to dictate how I should live my life. And I'm like, no, thank you. Like, you can keep that. You can keep that. And I will accept the reality that you have chosen to reside in. In fact, I've normalized that. That has nothing to do with me. I don't need to fix or save or do or try anything. You've chosen and you can stay there, until you realize that that's exhausting and you don't want to do that anymore. That's where I'm at. I'm in my era of peace. Okay. Let's see what else. Friendly reminders before I end. I know this video is very long, probably one of my longest videos ever. But friendly reminders. Don't I don't get paid to stress out. I don't get paid to stress out. Do you get paid to stress out? Like, are you like putting like unnecessary pressure and stress and strain upon yourself to perform in a certain way and to overextend and overdo for a company that probably doesn't really care about you? Like, they just give you just enough to keep you signed in and logged on so that you can like help them perpetuate their dream, their business, you know? Or not. Sometimes they just fucking don't care. They just discard you. They don't care. I mean, yeah. So I don't get paid to stress out, guys. That doesn't mean that I don't do my best job. I do my best. In everything I do, I always do my best. Um, because I just have integrity. You know what I mean? You know how some people just show up just to get paid, but they do like minimal work or they do like really half-ass work? No, that's not me. And yeah, I make sure I do my best when I show up to it, anything, not even just work, like even like in friendships, in relationships. I do my best, to show up as best version of myself. And what is my best version? Authentic, true, sincere, authentic, true, sincere. Um, I've had to end some relationships, honestly. Sometimes you know what I mean? Like, once I can tell, like, the exchange is off, like, say I feel like I'm doing more and giving more, and the other person is just coasting, plus disrespecting me, I can only put up with that for so long. Like, in fact, before I would give so many chances, and now I no. Now I like see it straight away, and I'm like, okay, this isn't working for me, and I'm gonna leave. Access revoked. I don't think that's unkind or uncaring or unloving. People who make you feel that way, they're just trying to gaslight you, which is a manipulation tactic, so that they can like maintain some type of control over your choices to enable bad behavior. No, thank you. I'm doing a great disservice to myself and you by stepping into that role. So, no, thank you. I'm not doing that. You know, you can tell. I don't know about you guys, but when I look at a person, the most important quality or trait to me is their heart. Like, what's in their heart? What is their heart emanating? That's the most important trait for me. I don't care how you look. If you have all this designer clothes, if you have all this material things, you've traveled the world, you have a doctoral whatever those fucking college degrees, whatever. I don't even care about all that shit. It's your heart. It's like, are you a kind, caring, decent, considerate person? You know, are you? And if you're not, I have little to no fucking time for you. Keeping it real. That's my best self. Showing up authentically, showing up as myself, keeping it real. That's that's my best self. Period. Yeah, I'm not trying to candy coat or like glaze things over. And that'll rattle a lot of people who are still like trying to maintain a facade. Yeah, like just the other day, was with a friend, and I don't know, that friend had shitty energy, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I'd rather be myself than like hanging out with you. I said that, and I mean, I feel like by me staying silent, like that would be doing myself and that person a great disservice because that's enabling bad behavior, bad energy. And then I'm keeping myself in a place that I don't feel well in, you know? So yeah, authenticity, guys, 100%. The quality of your heart. Um, second friendly reminder, but everybody did what's best for them. It's your turn. Everybody did what's best for them. It's your turn. 100%, 1000%. Yeah. I've noted like I've sacrificed a lot of my time, energy, attention, well being, balance, everything to make sure everybody else was okay, you know? And then I totally neglected and abandoned my own needs. We're not doing that anymore. And you can either get on this train or not, but it's time to do what's best for you. 1000%. If you have been a people pleaser, fixer, empath, fucking whatever, it's your turn. It's your turn to take care of yourself. You know, you've been giving it away to everyone else for so long. You've been letting everybody else dictate your reality. No, it's your turn. Do what's best for you. Everybody did what was best for them. It's your turn. That's a friendly reminder. And another here, let me end with these four things. Be your own protector and defender, because nobody else is going to do it for you. There's a lot of opportunists. I didn't realize this until I encountered one. And then it just made sense. Like I look back at a lot of my previous relationships, whether it be like, you know, coworkers, friends, family, acquaintances, whatever. That person was an activation point for me to realize that most people are opportunists. I'm not saying this to be afraid, guys. I'm saying this to be aware. I'm saying this like if people don't feel good, and what I mean, like, I'm not talking about like honeymoon phase feel good. I'm talking about in general. They don't maintain a pattern of making you feel well. Step back, reassess, maybe access, maybe, not maybe, access revoked, you know? Protect, be your own protector and defender. Don't let opportunists or manipulators or anybody who doesn't care about your well being access. Be your own protector and defender. Um, Forgive, but don't forget. Forgive. Like for me, I can forgive, but I will definitely not forget how people made me feel, who showed up when I needed them the most and who didn't. Yeah, I won't forget these things. The slights, the damage, the abuse, the dismissiveness, the projections. Yeah, I won't forget that, but I certainly forgive. But my whole thing is like, you don't forget so that you don't allow yourself to be put in that position again. You don't allow people to mistreat you ever again. You don't revisit or give access to people who obviously run that program. Um, and above all, choose your happiness. You know, it's funny. Like, I don't know what it is. So, like, I think I wake up every day. I think I've said this in other videos. I wake up every day with a clean slate, and I literally choose anything I choose throughout the day makes me happy. You know, like for instance, like I would like to think I'm a creative person. Yes, I am. We are all creators, but I like to like part of like being a creative person. I like to like extend that out into like my wardrobe. Like I like to like make crazy hairdos and wear funky clothes and who cares? And it makes me happy. You know, wear sparkly glitter things. And yeah, some people would like make I remember like people would shame me for that shit. Like, oh, you're wearing that? Oh my god, you're wearing sparkles. I'm like, yeah, and now I'm like, I don't care, it makes me happy. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. It just makes me happy. So I'm gonna do it. I wanna wear sparkles today. I wanna like make my hair into Princess Leia buns. Who cares? You know what I mean? I don't care what you think. It makes me happy. And if you're not happy, that just shows me that that's who you are and that's where you're at within yourself. And your projection is not my responsibility. So I will give you little to no attention. Yeah, period. Access revoked. Anybody who is trying to contaminate my peace or happiness or joy, access revoked immediately because I don't do that to others. Like, I get happy for others. I get happy for their successes. I get happy when they look beautiful. I get happy when they like overcame something that was really hard. So if somebody can't return that kind of energy to me, access revoked. I don't care you don't like my sparkles. Anyways, I'm going to end it. We're 42 minutes in, but if you learned anything from this video, great. If you didn't, that's great too. Tomato, tomato, you know? And again, if you have lasted this long, holy shit, commend yourself. You have an outstanding attention span. Anyways, I'm going to go. I'm going to take a fucking nap. I'm tired. Yeah, I've been swearing a lot. I don't really care. Tomato, tomato. Till next time, blessings to one and all. Take care of yourself. And you're the creator, so create your most beautiful and outstanding life in this little blip of time that we have in this human body. Amen.